아브라함 링컨. 바닥에서 시작해 미국의 16대 대통령이 됐고 위인이 된 입지전적인 인물.
Lincoln is consistently ranked by historians as the greatest American president.
하지만 잘 알려지지 않았던 그의 성격은 갑작스런 암살로 인해 영원히 전설로 남게 된다. 지금부터 링컨이란 인물의 본성과 그의 어린 시절이 끼친 영향을 역사, 심리, 의학적으로 심도 있게 분석한다. 이제 아브라함 링컨의 미스터리 파일이 공개된다. 아브라함 링컨은 두 번째로 대통령에 당선된 지 겨우 5개월 후 희극 공연을 보기 위해 이 극장을 찾았다. 1865년 4월 14일 부활절을 앞둔 금요일이었다. 공연이 시작되고 2시간쯤 지났을 무렵 존 윌크스 부스가 대통령석에 잠입해 때린저식 권총으로 링컨의 후두부를 저격한다. 링컨은 다음날 아침 사망했다. 미국 역사상 최초의 대통령 암살이었다. 해롤드 홀처는 링컨 관련 저술가다.
On Easter Sunday, pulpits around the country are echoing with sermons comparing Lincoln to Jesus. He's died for the nation's sins. It creates the most powerful resonance that elevates Lincoln into a mythical secular saint immediately.
미국의 수도 워싱턴 DC엔 이 미국의 아이콘을 기리기 위해 화강암과 석회석, 대리석으로 지어진 거대한 건축물인 링컨 기념관이 자리하고 있다. 링컨은 흑인 노예를 해방시켰고 남북전쟁에서 승리를 거둬 미국의 분열을 막았던 인물이다. 암살 이후 링컨은 위인으로 존경받았지만 그가 어떤 사람이었는지는 명성에 가려 잘 알려지지 않았다. 제임스 맥피어스는 링컨을 연구하는 세계적인 석학이다.
Being assassinated when he was in a moment of victory made it possible to forget all of the criticism of him, the failures and the frustrations of the war years, and to see only the martyr.
링컨의 삶은 낭만적으로 포장됐고 그의 성격과 동기의 복잡성은 잊혀졌다. 하지만 현대적인 분석으로 이 위대한 지도자의 본질에 접근해 보려고 한다. 때론 무자비했고 아메리칸 드림을 쫓아 성공에만 집착했던 링컨. 그의 말년 행동은 빈곤했던 어린 시절에 뿌리를 두고 있다. 링컨이 태어난 곳은 켄터키주 싱킹 스프링 팜이었다.
He quite literally was born in a log cabin on the frontier to a family of self-sufficient dirt farmers.
그래서 그의 교육 여건도 극도로 제한적일 수밖에 없었다.
He was always a little bit embarrassed about his lack of education. When Lincoln goes to Congress, he's given a questionnaire to fill out, listing his past achievements. And under the heading Education, he writes deficient. Sort of a joke, but I think it reveals a sense of regret that he had barely a year's schooling.
하지만 전문가들은 불우했던 유년기가 훗날 정치활동을 할 때 성공을 위해 매진하는 요인으로 작용했다고 지적한다.
He said basically, I'm humble Abraham Lincoln. My politics are short and simple, like the old woman's dance. Just a great line.
물론 현실은 너무나 달랐다.
No one who achieved what he achieved, who rose from the obscurity from which he rose, could have been as self deprecating and humble as Abraham Lincoln professed to be. His artifice was to make fun of himself. It masked usefully the complexities of a brilliant mind and created a folksy image that people could also adore as well as respect and maybe not see the inner workings of and the ambition behind.
링컨이 성공을 거둔 것은 야망과 열정이 있었기 때문이다. 학자들은 그가 숨기려 했던 성장 배경이 야망을 키워냈다고 믿고 있다.
From an early age, he wanted to do better than his father had done. His father was basically satisfied with the kind of life that they led. Lincoln was extremely dissatisfied and wanted to get out, wanted to move up.
사학자 마이클 벌링검은 링컨이 성장기 시절 경험했을 심리 상태를 연구해 왔다.
Well, the origins of Lincoln's ambition, I think, are rooted in a sense of inferiority. That Lincoln was quite self-conscious about being a country bumpkin. He didn't want to be a farmer as his father was. He didn't want to be a carpenter as his father was. He didn't want to live in the rural areas as his father did. So his initial ambition was to leave that world.
링컨은 방대한 양의 독서로 탈출을 감행했다.
He was one of the great autodidacts when it came to education. He taught himself an astonishing amount.
링컨은 이렇게 습득한 지식을 통해 변경을 떠나 정치계에 입문한다. 하지만 순전히 사회에 헌신하기 위해 공직을 택한 것은 아니었다. 벌링검에 따르면 훨씬 개인적인 동기가 그를 움직였다.
His ambition, I think, at that time was not so much focused on a particular ideology, but it was just winning popularity. And then this is not the case just with Lincoln, but many people go into political life as a way of enhancing their sense of self-esteem. Winning elections and giving speeches and being applauded helps to build up a sense of self-worth and self-confidence, and I think Lincoln is a classic example of it.
링컨은 25살이라는 젊은 나이에 첫 정치적 승리를 얻어냈다. 1834년 일리노이주 의원으로 당선된 것이다. 또 변호사로도 성공적인 나날을 보냈다. 이 젊고 야심찬 정치가 겸 변호사는 후일의 위대한 대통령과는 큰 차이가 있었다. 대통령 링컨은 침착한 성품과 따뜻한 마음으로 유명했다. 하지만 대통령에 당선되기 25년 전의 젊은 링컨은 사뭇 달랐다.
The most unattractive quality in Lincoln that I've discovered is a tendency on his part as a young man, as a young politician, to engage in cruelty. That is, frontier politics, as it was practiced in his day, involved a great deal of personal ridicule and sarcasm. In his 20s and his 30s, he tended to be a low-road politician.
링컨은 명민한 재치와 유머 감각으로 경쟁자를 희화화하는 동시에 조롱과 무시의 대상으로 전락시켰다.
There was a kind of arrogance in some of these pseudonymous newspaper articles that he wrote in the 1830s and 1840s, satirizing political opponents.
일리노이주 같은 변경 지역에선 효과적인 정치 전술이었지만 대통령으로선 결코 어울리지 않는 행동이었다. 그런데 링컨의 성품은 어느 순간부터 확실하게 달라진다. 학자들은 링컨의 행동과 성품이 급변하게 된 결정적인 사건이 있었다고 입을 모은다.
Once he so insulted a political opponent that he was challenged to a duel.
1842년 링컨의 신랄한 발언에 타격을 입은 제임스 쉴즈가 위신을 되찾기 위해 결투를 신청했다.
The challenger and Lincoln went out to a dueling site outside of Illinois. Lincoln, as the challenged party, was able to choose weapons, and the gentleman who challenged him to a duel was much shorter than Lincoln. And Lincoln specified that the duel would be fought with swords, that it would be fought in a limited space, in which he could not move out of, and a dividing line which they could not cross. So Lincoln could have stood on his side of the dividing line and turned his opponent into steak tartare with his sword while the opponent flailed at him and was unable to reach him.
이 규칙대로라면 쉴즈는 거의 승산이 없었다. 하지만 한 현명한 사람이 중재를 자청했고 링컨은 쉴즈에게 사과했다. 링컨은 이 사건으로 인격적 성장을 경험했고 40살의 나이에 주류 정치계를 떠나 5년 동안 은둔했다.
During that period, which seems on the surface of it to be very uneventful, beneath the surface, Lincoln went through a tremendous period of psychological growth and became a high-road statesman rather than a low-road political hack.
링컨은 정치계로 복귀했고 여기엔 그의 정치적 견해와 개인적 가치관에 지대한 영향을 미친 어린 시절의 경험이 크게 작용했다.
And what brought him back in 1854 was the Kansas-Nebraska Act.
미국 의회는 캔자스와 네브라스카라는 새로운 영토를 인정하는 법을 통과시키면서 이 지역 정착민의 노예 고용 역시 승인했다. 노예제를 금지하기로 했던 초안이 뒤집히면서 많은 논란을 불러일으킨 법안이었다. 링컨은 정치에 복귀할 당위성을 느꼈다. 법안 통과에 반대하는 내용의 연설에서 10년 전 결투 사건 이후로 링컨이 개인적으로 얼마나 발전했는지가 드러난다.
Right now we're in the Hall of Representatives at the old state capitol in Springfield. Lincoln's celebrated House Divided speech in June of 1858 was delivered in this very hall at the podium just behind us here. It was the opening paragraphs in which he said, "A house divided against itself cannot stand. I believe this government cannot endure permanently half slave and half free. I do not expect the Union to be dissolved. I do not expect the house to fall, but I do expect it will cease to be divided."
이렇듯 링컨의 연설들에 담긴 호소력과 지성은 그를 전국적인 정치인으로 격상시켰다.
So it established Lincoln's credentials as a very powerful spokesman for the anti-slavery cause. He became an even more prominent national figure, and it really helped to make him president.
이로써 링컨은 대통령 출마 결심을 굳혔고 개인적인 정치 신념에도 전기가 마련됐다.
His ambition then is not just to achieve fame and applause, but also to help do something that would alleviate the suffering of the slaves and to vindicate the honor of the country.
벌링검 교수는 방대한 연구를 통해 링컨이 노예제 폐지 시각을 갖게 된 근원을 찾아냈다.
In his speeches, he emphasized not so much the traditional arguments that abolitionists made. Instead, he emphasizes again and again and again that it's an outrage that somebody goes out and works in the hot sun all day and somebody else derives all the profits.
이건 역시 링컨의 성장기 경험이 미래 정치 활동에 영향을 미친 예다.
I connected that with the way he was treated by his father. When Lincoln was a young man, an adolescent, his father would rent him out to neighbors, and he would dig up stumps and chop down trees and do other really backbreaking farm work, and he might make 25 cents a day.
21살 미만의 자녀가 번 수익은 모두 아버지가 갖는 것이 당시의 법이었다.
And then Lincoln would take it home and turn it over to his father. I think Lincoln deeply resented the fact that he was yanked out of school and forced by his father to go and work for others. And that he unconsciously then identified himself with the slaves and identified his father with the slaveholders.
또한 노예제 폐지에 관한 링컨의 시각엔 무일푼으로 자수성가한 자신의 경험도 반영됐다.
Lincoln himself said it many times that slavery was an anomaly in a society that believed in the rights of all men to get ahead. Because slaves were, of course, as Lincoln once put it, fatally fixed in that condition for life. They had no hope of getting ahead.
어린 시절에 얻은 확신이 평생 동안 그와 함께했다. 링컨은 노예제 폐지 운동과 함께 정치계의 핵심부에 진출했다. 1860년 11월 6일 링컨은 파란을 일으키며 미국의 제16대 대통령으로 당선됐다. 표의 대부분은 노예제가 없는 북부에서 나왔다. 남부 지역은 노예제에 의존했고 심지어 투표용지에 그의 이름을 인쇄하지 않은 주도 많았다. 분열의 조짐은 결국 남북전쟁으로 이어졌다. 링컨은 이후 5년 동안 전쟁의 최전방에서 활동하며 가장 위대한 미국 대통령으로 역사책에 이름을 올렸지만 남다른 의지와 성품이 없었다면 그러한 위상을 얻는 일은 불가능했을 것이다. 대통령 임기 동안의 보다 개인적인 부분을 살펴보면 링컨은 자기관리가 매우 철저했으며 그가 겪은 어려움은 우리가 알고 있는 것보다 훨씬 컸다는 걸 알 수 있다. 1862년 링컨의 아들 윌리엄이 장티푸스에 걸려 사망했다.
The death of Willie, the third son, during the Civil War, was particularly hard on both Mr. and Mrs. Lincoln because he was the favorite child. He was the one who was most like his father. It was a terrible blow for both his parents.
He was a man of melancholy, who, especially in his younger years, had suffered from depression and went through times of depression as President of the United States too.
견뎌내기 어려운 상황이었지만 최근 링컨이 취임 초기에 어려움을 어떻게 극복했는지 알려줄 단서가 발견됐다. 링컨은 강력한 우울증 치료제로 사용되던 블루메스란 약을 복용하고 있었다.
It's been speculated that that may have had an effect on his personality and his temperament and may have made him more short-tempered and irritable.
노버트 허션 박사는 링컨의 과민한 성격에서 더 심각한 징후를 일궈냈다.
It came more and more clear to me that as a physician, that if a man like this comes to me saying, I take blue mass, and all his friends and relatives come and say when he's behaving really erratically, he loses his temper, he's very sensitive, he's got a tremor when he's under stress, I would say, I think this could be mercury poisoning.
다량의 수은이 링컨의 체내에 축적돼 있었다면 그 부작용은 아주 심각했을 것이다. 허션 박사의 진단 결과는 확정적이었다.
We find that on any reasonable doses that he could have been taking, he's absorbing a lot of mercury. The amounts are 1,000 times more than what is now allowed to be absorbed by our health authorities.
링컨은 대통령 당선 당시 서서히 독극물에 중독돼 갔다. 하지만 취임 5개월 후에 약물의 부작용을 인식한 듯 복용을 중단했다.
The striking thing about Lincoln as president is not that he was psychologically wounded or debilitated by his tendency toward depression. The remarkable thing is the psychological strength that he manifested during that period.
분석하고 학습하고 적응하고 발전하는 능력은 링컨의 일생 동안 흔들리지 않았고 위협을 이루는 데 밑거름이 됐다. 하지만 그의 몰락을 초래한 건 역시 그 능력이었다. 링컨은 정치 초기 인종 평등을 반대하는 입장이었다.
I mean, he doesn't really know any people of color in Springfield, Illinois. He says, do I believe that blacks should serve on juries? No. Do I believe that they should vote? No. Do I believe they have the right to intermarry with white people? No.
하지만 대통령이 된 뒤 흑인 사회에 대한 관점이 달라졌다.
I think it's really crucial that he moves, he changes. In the White House, he meets Frederick Douglass more than once. They plan emancipation strategy together.
프레더릭 더글러스는 노예 출신의 유력한 흑인 노예 해방론자다.
He welcomes Douglas to the White House. In 1865, after his inaugural address, he says publicly, "Douglas, what did you think of my speech? There is no one whose opinion I respect more than yours." This in front of a crowd exclusively made up of white people. Culturally, one of Lincoln's greatest moments. Because if there's ever a moment when he's advancing toward believing in equality, at least as an ideal, that's a moment.
남북 전쟁도 링컨에게 결정적인 영향을 미쳤다.
I think a major factor in that was the contribution of black soldiers to Union victory. Here were people who had fought for their country, and by doing so, they had earned citizenship in that country. You can't ask them to fight and to risk their lives and then turn around and deny them the rights of citizenship. And I think that's what Lincoln was basically saying by 1865.
흑인 참정권에 대한 옹호는 직접적으로 링컨의 죽음을 초래했다. 어쩌면 어린 시절의 경험이 불의와 맞서 싸우는 정치 신념을 형성한 것일지도 모른다.
In the last speech that he gave 3 days before he was assassinated, basically publicly came out in favor of some degree of political rights for the freed slaves.
하지만 이것은 위태로운 발언이었다.
There was one member of the audience in 1865 on that April 11th day who did appreciate the importance of that speech, and that was a young actor named John Wilkes Booth, who, upon hearing Lincoln endorse black suffrage, at least limited black suffrage, turned to his companions and said, "That means nigger citizenship. That's the last speech he's ever going to give. By God, I'm going to run him through." And 3 days later, he shot Lincoln.
링컨의 죽음은 순교로 승화됐다. 하지만 이번 조사를 통해 성인의 또 다른 면모가 드러났다.
His personality had more than one side and was quite complex, but I think that makes him all the more interesting, makes him all the greater, because it humanizes him, and we can appreciate him as a human being rather than this marble man who looks down on us from this tremendous memorial in Washington.
북부연합의 영웅이자 가장 위대한 해방운동가로 역사에 길이 남은 링컨은 신화적인 명성에 비해 실수도 많았지만 흥미로운 인물이기도 했다. 그렇기 때문에 그는 가장 위대한 미국인으로 우리의 기억에 남아있을 것이다.